Battlecry Man-to-Man Combat in the Pacific Theater. I'm moving on here with all the peculiarities to Battlecry. So these are rules and terrain in Battlecry that I do not remember being covered in Iron Cross. I was still talking about bunkers. This is pretty critical since the Japanese have 4 of these bunkers in this scenario. I've got to get this right enough to start playing, right? The big question was, well, the first thing is each bunker has an inherent crew weapon associated with it. So like I said before, the first time it's used, it's flipped over to reveal what that crude weapon, that inherent crude weapon is. But my question was, because they talk about stacking, so a bunker may be occupied by a maximum of 6 infantry or support weapons. Then it says the support weapons crew counts toward this occupancy limit. I don't know. It was confusing. There is confusion here, vagueness, ambiguity. Anyways, what I'm going with is, the errata online. Okay, so the errata that was published in, where was it published? It was published in what magazine? It was published in Wargamer magazine. I do know that the weapon, like this medium machine gun that's inherent to this bunker, it is assumed to be fully crewed, even though what threw me off is it has no crew number on it, like normal. So the errata tells me that it's fully crewed, so I have to assume, and this is where it's not entirely clear, I'm going to assume that that inherent crew is not counted against the 6 allowed to be in the bunker. But that's a big assumption, because that would be, I think, the first clear-cut exception to the stacking rule that I can recall. Anyways, that's what I'm going with. It doesn't really matter here because of how I want to spread out the Japanese and how I want to cover fields of fire. I don't see a reason to have extra soldiers in these bunker hexes anyways. But obviously, if I have a number of, let's say I have these 3 Japanese soldiers, moving back here, I mean, if they want to go into this bunker, can they? So my point is, if I have 3 Japanese soldiers that want to enter this hex, the bunker hex, and actually enter the bunker, is it 3 against the limit of 6, or is it 3 plus 2 for the medium machine gun for a total of 5 against the limit of 6? Not clear. And the problem I have with there not being a crew number on here is that implies to me that I'm not actually accounting for individual crew member casualties for this inherent weapon like I do for all the other crew served weapons. So bottom line, ambiguous, but I'm just going to move forward so I can play. Now let's talk about other things peculiar to Battlecry in the Pacific Theater. We have, so unit states are the same. You have normal up and down, same as Iron Cross. Reaction fire, line of sight observation. Actually, this is another, oh boy, I guess there are a lot of examples of where the rules got ambiguous at Battlecry, but they were clarified again and more detail was added when you get to Iron Cross. What do I mean? In these rules it says infantry combat units may not reaction fire at a unit farther than 3 hexes away. But that's it. It doesn't say anything about all the other units, right? What about machine guns? What about other AT guns or whatever? All of those details are added in Iron Cross. So I think you'd just be left with ambiguity here in Battlecry. I guess you would have to assume that all non-infantry, or I guess all the crew-served weapons, can fire in reaction fire normally, but that's not true in Iron Cross. So, anyways, range attenuation looks basically the same. Observation looks roughly the same. Roughly. Improved positions. We get to the Pacific terrain. I'm not going to talk about jungle till I get to it, or the rough terrain till I get to it. Now, Imperial Japanese troops, they have a special rules section called defensive posture. They have a special rules section for infiltration. I'm not going to play with infiltration because the IJA shouldn't really be moving in this particular scenario. But I do need to look at defensive posture. Oh, of course, they have Banzai Charge. And they have snipers. By IJA snipers, hidden IJA snipers. And by the way, I'm playing with everything as long as it basically applies. So I'll get back to snipers. Caves, now there aren't caves in this scenario, but we'll get to those later. There are bunkers, as we've talked about. There are bazookas. The Marines actually have a couple bazookas. So those bazookas can be used against the bunkers, for example. Oh, there's an option. This is a great optional rule. By the way, I'll play with all rules, including all optional rules, as long as they're not especially, I don't know, off the wall. But here there's an optional rule under the fortifications rule section. It says a grenade or satchel charge when it explodes within a bunker or an AFV destroys the bunker or hex side. Not sure what that means. Roll 2 dice. If on a roll of 2 or 3, the bunker is also an ammunition dump and will explode. All units within 2 hexes of the bunker are eliminated, including AFVs. Units within 4 hexes are suppressed. Okay, pretty cool. Satchel charges, I'll definitely be... So satchel charges are basically carried by U.S. engineers. I actually have 4 engineers on the U.S. side. So each one of those will be carrying 2 satchel charges. We'll play with satchel charges rules. Heroes. So heroes, men react differently under combat conditions. Some simply freeze. Others are spurred to incredible acts of nearly suicidal behavior. In many instances, an impossible situation was saved by a hero. Any unit that has been fired on in the previous or current player turn is eligible to become a hero. A hero can occur in 2 instances. So there's one, a grenade lands in a hex with more than 1 infantry unit. And then there's a second setting where during movement, if an eligible unit rolls a 2 or 3 during his PC, his performance check, he is considered to become a hero with the following effects. So we will play with heroes. Then we have Japanese suicide units, and also this is another optional rule that I will definitely be playing with, and this is random artillery strikes. So the rule says this: the intent of Battlecry is to study man-to-man tactics on the island. Artillery from outside the playing area had an effect on the battle, though. These battles, though. This optional rule is intended to add that effect. So the IJA may call 1 strike per player turn to a maximum of 8 per scenario. The U.S. may call 1 strike per player turn to a maximum of 6 per scenario. Then, so we will be playing with that rule. You're going to lay out the target marker. You're going to roll as for a mortar round, and then you'll assess the firepower against all targets. Armored fighting vehicles, we'll get to those. There aren't any in this scenario yet. We've got, let's see, crew-served weapons, basically the same. Machine guns, I've mentioned before, machine guns are handled differently here. I want to just go ahead and use the Iron Cross rules. However, I'm not sure I've mentioned this yet. Ammunition was dropped from Battlecry. There's no way I'm playing a game at this scale and scope. Having trouble talking today. There's no way I'm playing at this scale and scope without ammunition limits to factor into the side's decisions. No way. So I will just probably port over the ammunition rules entirely from Iron Cross. Mortars, the Japanese have a couple mortars. We'll play with those. Flamethrowers, the Americans I think have 1 flamethrower, so we'll be playing with flamethrowers. Mines, you have to, I already jotted down my mines on a scratch paper. So the IJA get 15 points. I put 3 anti-personnel factors per hex for 5 hexes. I basically covered these flanks here. I covered this flank here, and on the other, straight across on the other side of the map off the screen here, the flank few hexes are covered as well with mines, AP mines. Hidden, not known to the Americans in this scenario.